An Indiana family getting some closure after the Hamilton County Coroner's Office identified human remains on the former home of serial killer Herb Baumeister. Newsweek's Adam Pinsker joins us now in studio. Adam, this is the third victim identified through remains found on Baumeister's property, I understand.
It is, Phil. Yeah, the third here in a little over a year. It's Jeffrey Jones of Putnam County, Indiana. He was reported missing in August of 1993. His remains are among 10,000 pieces of bone fragments and teeth found on Baumeister's former home in Westfield. The coroner is appealing to the public for help in identifying more victims. Since being elected Hamilton County coroner a year and a half ago, Jeff Jellison has made it his mission to identify thousands of human remains unearthed on the property of Herb Baumeister on Fox Hollow Farms in Westfield.
Fox Hollow Farm, a grand name for an 18-acre estate in the quiet, affluent suburbs of Indianapolis. Manicured lawns, a swimming pool, a 3-car garage, all the trappings of success. But something sinister lurked beneath the surface of this idyllic home. Something dark and evil. The property held a horrifying secret, a truth so gruesome it would send chills down the spines of even the most hardened investigators. This was not a haven but a hunting ground. The beautiful facade couldn't hide the stench of death that clung to the air. A palpable sense of dread seemed to emanate from the very walls of the house. Unseen eyes watched from the shadows, and the wind whispered tales of unspeakable acts. Fox Hollow Farm was a place where nightmares were born and lives were brutally extinguished.
These remains represent people, and these people need to go to a final resting spot. They can't go to a final resting spot until we identify them.
Jellison moved a step closer after identifying Jeffrey Jones thanks to a genealogy investigation that the FBI assisted with. Baumeister was suspected of murdering dozens of men throughout the 1990s. Baumeister killed himself in 1996 as investigators were closing in on him. Wish TV interviewed Baumeister for an unrelated story before he became a suspect in these killings. So far, Jellison has 4 DNA profiles that have yet to be identified, bringing the total number of victims attributed to Baumeister to 12 so far.
Herb Baumeister, the owner of Fox Hollow Farm, was an enigma. To the outside world, he was a successful businessman, a devoted husband, and a loving father. He had a charming personality that could disarm even the most skeptical observer. Beneath the surface, however, lurked a monster. Baumeister was harboring a dark secret, one that would eventually consume him and shatter the lives of many innocent people. He was living a double life, carefully crafted to conceal his true nature. By day, he played the role of a respectable citizen. By night, he transformed into a predator, driven by an insatiable thirst for control and violence. His victims, mostly young men, were lured into his web of deceit, unaware of the danger that awaited them within the walls of Fox Hollow Farm.
We will identify many more individuals, and this investigation it's not even close to being over with.
Since reopening the case, Jellison identified Alan Livingston last year because a relative submitted a DNA test. He's hoping other family members who suspect their loved ones may be among Baumeister's victims come forward as well.
The most efficient way to identify these remains is through a family reference sample, just a simple DNA cheek swab.
The 10,000 pieces of bone fragment are being stored at the University of Indianapolis. Many of them have been burned or severely damaged, making identification difficult and tedious. Adam Pinsker, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Baumeister often frequented gay bars in Indianapolis, using his charm and charisma to prey on vulnerable young men. He presented himself as a successful entrepreneur, offering them drinks, drugs, and the promise of a good time. Many of these men were struggling, some estranged from their families, others battling addiction or homelessness. Baumeister offered them a sense of hope, a listening ear, and a temporary escape from their troubles. It was a cruel and calculated deception. He would invite them back to Fox Hollow Farm, promising a night of relaxation and fun. He showed off his wealth, boasting about his business ventures and luxurious home. The unsuspecting victims, their guard lowered by the alcohol, and the seemingly friendly demeanor of their host, readily accepted his invitation. They had no idea they were stepping into a carefully constructed trap, one from which there would be no escape. The truth about Fox Hollow Farm began to unravel in 1994 when a teenager walking his dog made a horrifying discovery. The serene forest path he often took with his pet would never be the same again. Scattered across the property, half hidden in the undergrowth and partially buried in the sprawling backyard, were thousands upon thousands of human bone fragments. The sight was both shocking and deeply unsettling. Over 10,000 in total, a number that defied comprehension. The sheer number of bones was staggering, a macabre testament to the scale of Baumeister's crimes. Each fragment told a story of unimaginable horror. The once peaceful estate was transformed into a nightmarish crime scene. Its dark history now laid bare for all to see. Investigators, their faces grim, meticulously combed through the property, unearthing a gruesome collection of human remains. Every dig revealed more evidence of the atrocities committed. Skulls, teeth and bones of all shapes and sizes were carefully catalogued, each one a silent witness to a life brutally cut short. The process was painstaking and emotionally draining. The sheer volume of bones made identification a Herculean task. The forensic team worked tirelessly, knowing each bone represented a person with a story. It was clear they were dealing with a serial killer, but who were the victims, and how many had met their end at the hands of Herb Baumeister? The questions loomed large, casting a shadow over the investigation. Section 5. A puzzle with missing pieces. Identifying the victims proved to be a daunting task for investigators. Many of the bones were badly decomposed, exposed to the elements for years. Dental records, often a crucial tool in identifying human remains, were scarce, as many of the victims were transients or estranged from their families. The investigation was further hampered by the lack of cooperation from Herb Baumeister himself. He denied any involvement in the murders, claiming the bones belonged to animals or had been planted on his property. His wife, though initially skeptical, stood by her husband, further complicating the investigation. It was a frustrating and heartbreaking case, with investigators working tirelessly to bring closure to the families of the missing men, but facing seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Section 6. Hope from the Ashes. DNA's revelation. For years, the identity of many of Baumeister's victims remained a mystery. The case went cold, and the families of the missing men were left to grapple with the agonizing uncertainty of their loved ones' fates. However, the advent of DNA technology offered a glimmer of hope. Investigators, refusing to give up, began submitting the bone fragments for DNA analysis, hoping for a breakthrough. Their patience and persistence paid off. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, advancements in DNA technology allowed for the extraction of genetic material from even the most degraded bone fragments. This breakthrough, coupled with the creation of national DNA databases, revolutionized the field of forensic science and provided investigators with a powerful new tool to identify victims and solve cold cases. Finally, there was a chance to give a name back to the forgotten victims of Fox Hollow Farm. Section 7. A mother's unwavering pursuit. One person who never gave up hope was Margaret Gill, a mother whose determination knew no bounds. Her son, Roger Goodlett, disappeared in 1994, leaving a void that could never be filled. She knew in her heart that something terrible had happened to him, a mother's intuition that could not be ignored. When she learned about the discovery of bone fragments at Fox Hollow Farm, she became convinced that Roger was among the victims her worst fears realized. She contacted the authorities, providing them with dental records and any information she could gather about Roger's last known whereabouts, hoping for a breakthrough. Years turned into a decade, and still there was no news, the silence becoming more deafening with each passing day. Margaret never gave up hope, tirelessly advocating for her son and the other victims. She organized vigils, contacted the media, and rallied the community. She kept in constant communication with investigators, determined to keep the case alive and the memory of her son burning brightly. Her unwavering love for her son and her refusal to let him be forgotten would eventually play a crucial role in bringing some measure of closure to the families of Fox Hollow Farm, a testament to a mother's enduring love and relentless pursuit of justice. Section 8. The unanswered questions. Despite some breakthroughs in identifying victims through DNA, many questions remain unanswered. The exact number of Baumeister's victims is still unknown. Some estimates suggest he may have killed as many as 20 men, their bodies disposed of in the vast expanse of the Fox Hollow Farm property or discarded in rural areas surrounding Indianapolis. The full extent of Baumeister's crimes may never be known. What drove a seemingly ordinary man to commit such horrific acts? How did he manage to maintain a facade of normalcy for so long, deceiving his family, friends and neighbors? These are questions that continue to haunt investigators and the families of the victims. The case of Herb Baumeister serves as a chilling reminder that darkness can lurk beneath even the most unassuming facades, and that monsters often walk among us undetected, their true nature hidden from the world. Section 9. The lingering shadow of Fox Hollow Farm. Fox Hollow Farm stands today as a chilling reminder of the evil that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary life. The serene facade of the farm hides a past filled with unspeakable horrors, a stark contrast to its peaceful appearance. The property has since been sold, the grand house demolished, but the shadow of Herb Baumeister's crimes continues to loom large. His actions have left an indelible mark on the land, a scar the time has yet to heal. The case serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of those living on the margins of society, and the importance of never giving up hope in the search for justice. It highlights the need for vigilance and compassion in protecting the most vulnerable among us. Law enforcement remains committed to identifying the remaining victims of Fox Hollow Farm, utilizing advancements in DNA technology and tirelessly pursuing every lead. The relentless pursuit of justice is a testament to the dedication of those who refuse to let these victims be forgotten. The families of those lost continue to seek answers, their grief a constant companion. Their unwavering determination to find closure is a powerful reminder of the enduring impact of these tragic events. The story of Fox Hollow Farm is a tragedy that continues to unfold, a haunting reminder of the darkness that can reside in the human heart and the importance of fighting for justice for all victims, no matter how much time has passed. It is a call to remember, to seek truth, and to honor the memories of those who were lost.